In today's video, I'm going to tie this parachute fly that imitates, by silhouette, it's probably an ant, maybe a bee because of the color choice, but in my opinion it's kind of a tractor pattern. And here I will show you, well, how to make the abdomen with kapok, and it's a very interesting technique. I did it in one of my previous videos. Then I want to show you how I deal with the hackle. That's something new that I learned recently from LBD. So first, let's jump into materials, and obviously the thread is going to be first one, Semperfli Nano Silk 12/0. Very strong, very easy to manage. I like it very strong because of the parachute post. You will later see why. For the abdomen, as I was saying, is going to be kapok, and I'm going to use brown here and yellow color, just to make some contrast. It resembles bees a little bit, especially when wet. And just the third material basically is whitening heritage hackle. So this is a cape. I don't know what color this is, but it's beautiful. I was looking for something that resembles a Coq de Leon a little bit, and I got it somewhat. But I'm just like, it's just perfect feather. I mean, look at this. I'm pulling it and it's out of focus, but you can see it's super long feather. So the value that you get for the money is pretty exceptional. Now let's go into tying. Because the thread is slippery. Oh, hook, I forgot hook. So sorry guys. I'll do the hook a little bit more upwards, like this. And I want it upwards because I want to have some of this curve exposed instead of just grabbing it shallow like this, because I want to go a little bit into the bend. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run the thread through the beeswax just to keep it more just to make more friction between the hook and the thread. I'll start with reverse jam hitch. So let me do it again. Go under the hook, away from you, and then over, and then start wrapping in with your tying hand until you feel that when you pull on the bobbin holder it won't unspin the thread. Then transfer the tag end towards the front, towards the eye, just catch it a couple of more reps. You can snip off the tag end. Now it's that simple. Now why I'm doing it? Very simple. I want to start everything at the back, so I want my abdomen, I want everything brown to go towards the bend, and then I'm gonna go back with the yellow ribs, and that's it. Kapok is very easy to work with, and just take a bunch of it, hold it in your fingers, and then just pinch bit by bit, attach it to the tying thread, and try to make nice even compact noodle that is going to kind of taper toward both ends, because when you start it here and when you end it here you need some taper. Now you also want abdomen to be thicker. It kind of resembles ant, but the color resembles more of a bee, as I said. So it's all and nothing, and yeah. So this is going to be first run. I'll do it in two runs, because if I'm working with too long noodle, then it's just more difficult to wrap everything around. Start it. Now, tight wraps, as you can see, controlled. That's why it's better to put less than more at the beginning, and go a little bit into the bend. Yeah, this is enough. Now leave a little tag of kapok over there, because it's easier to overlap. When I start making new noodle, I can attach old and new noodle, I can connect them kind of. So this is too much. I'll just make it longer in this case, and then just start spinning it and making this noodle. Try to make it as even as possible, because it's gonna make your tying your abdomen here much easier. Okay, This is the length I want. This is like maybe 3 centimeters. Now I'll add a couple of layers in the middle of it, just to emphasize this thick abdomen. And yeah. If you have some loose parts of the noodle, just tighten it up. Okay, I think this should be enough. Now, yellow one. This one you need maybe 1 centimeter or maybe more in length, but you want it solidly made. You mean relatively thick, uniform in all like thickness, and again slightly tapered towards the ends. Okay, I'll add here. I'll go as close as I can to the abdomen here. Okay. Now I will give my best that the first wrap goes thin, and let's go. I'll just go over. Now this is relatively loose and I don't like it, so I'll just make it again. I'm working with very thin material here. Okay, let's see what we can do. Okay, wrapping in a spiral that will make some contrast here, and that's it. I'll cover the thread. Now you can see why I like it. It looks very buggy when I do this. It kind of mixes up everything, but you can still see the ribs and just looks beautiful. Now, parachute material, and there is a tip over there that I like very much. I want to keep this knot, but I don't want the whole bunch of this. So I'll just go with a dubbing needle and I'll just kind of pull out what I need. Try to keep the knot intact. Try. Still, some of them will go around, and that's it. Counter spin the bobbin holder to make everything flat and to make thread jump into your fingers. Couple of wraps and then just snip this end off. Cover the rest, and this will give us thorax area. Now look, I want to make parachute post as rigid as possible, so I'll kind of sandwich this between the two. This parachute post is on a thin side, to be honest. I think I removed too many fibers, but never mind. I'll just make the point of what I do here. Make a couple of wraps and then pull. This will make this a little bit more rigid. As you can see, I'm not holding the parachute closed, I'm just spiraling and then tightening. And then spiral, kind of. You can go tight in those relatively tight wraps and then just tighten. If you go too much, it will unravel, which you don't want. It just happened to me twice. Now I'll go down. But still, it's easier than to work with soft and not rigid post. Now, because this is too thin, the parachute post is going to be too thin, I'm going to make thorax first a little bit here. And then I'll go again with flat thread to even up all the mess that I may have made. Okay, let's go down with flat thread again, because this is going to be the base for the hackle, and that's very important that we have it flat, because the hackle will wrap more beautifully. The hackle, as I said, is whitening, and it's super long. It's like around 20 centimeters, 22 centimeters long, and it's almost top of the cape, top part of the cape. Now I'll just make this kind of remove those barbs from the rachis. I need something to hold on when I'm having the pliers, because I want to fold this hackle. I want shiny side towards me. So when I could do this and start wrapping around, I want this side folded. I don't want it to be hitting the parachute post. So what I'm gonna do, put your small finger into the hackle pliers like this. I lost the contact there. Okay. Put your thumb against the rachis and then just push those barbs down. As you pull down, you will make a U shape in the rachis, but basically you want to put all the barbs towards one end of the rachis, one side of the rachis, sorry. Okay. When you look from here, it looks like a V. Now, I'll take it and attach it. Now, attaching this parachute is very important how you do it. The length of it, I'll just explain now why. Okay, now the thread has flattened by now, and I'll just go over, and these are soft wraps. So from time to time, I want to tighten everything as when I was making it up. And I'll show you now the one of the most important things here. And I'll zoom in into that. Let me just cut these sixes here. Okay. Now when I start wrapping the hackle, as you can see, I haven't gone with the rachis. First of all, bare rachis extends a little bit over this black part, and then my last thread wrap over the rachis is not at the same height as the parachute post itself. It's a little bit less, because when I start wrapping, it will go and make the first initial wrap more neat. Now, the reason why we folded this hackle, I saw it from Gordon Vanderspy. You will see his posts on Facebook mostly, and he also has 2 wonderful books, so highly recommended. He noticed that if you fold a dry fly hackle, you'll get more wraps around the parachute post, which will in turn give you a more buoyant fly. And some people like to strip the hackle, and if you strip the hackle, you're basically removing exactly the thing that makes your fly buoyant over here. But if you don't strip the hackle, if you hold all those barbs, if you keep them, then your fly will be more full and more buoyant. Now, something else that I've seen on internet, Al, BT, and Gretchen, I hope I didn't butcher their names, I'm sorry if I did. They have a wonderful video, a lengthy one, where they just make 2 wraps over, and then when you make initial wrap, you will notice that this end of the feather, this end here, will go this way, practically hiding and securing the barbs. So the whole point of this is to keep the underside of the parachute as clean as possible, yeah? Now, if there is 1 or 2 that are left sticking down, I like to just, as you can see, I just push them because they're not there. I'm not fighting them too much. Just 1 wrap is here, that's enough. I'll just put my nail against the hook and tighten again. Okay. Now, instead of cutting through the hackle, the best way to do this is just to kind of cut it like a knife. Okay, so you don't cut any barbs that you want to stay here. Now, flatten thread by now. Just need to do the whip finish. Sorry for the noise. I'll do the whip finish, and I'll do the whip finish by doing under all those barbs, making sure all those barbs will stay above the hook shank. That's important here. Now I have to untangle this part. That's okay. Not so bad. Happens from time to time because the parachute post is a bit longer. Then tighten everything up, and as you can see, there is not a single barb sticking below the shank, which is why this parachute is a little bit more neat, easier to work with. And this technique from Al is a really cool technique. Keep the parachute post more tall so it's more visible. I like the Hackle, as you can see here, a bit wider because it gives a wider profile. All those barbs are giving some surface tension and keeping your fly afloat. So if you have more surface tension equals more buoyancy to the fly. And that's it, basically. So guys, I hope you liked this video. And if you did, please give it a like, share, and see you next time.